Mamdani and Governor Kathy Hochul say faster buses are on the way to New York City. Their new bus action plan will target 50 priority bus routes across the city for immediate speed and infrastructure improvements. These faster bus routes will be in Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. The mayor's office indicating the experience as a whole will also be improved.
Bus riders are so often the ones who are thought of the least when it comes to our policy conversations.
We'll also be looking at things like the reliability of the buses, the experience of riders at the bus stop. The plan has a really detailed roadmap for implementation that we're developing with our partners at the MTA, along with performance indicators.
Of course, anything the mayor wants to do to improve the MTA has to go through the governor's office. And right now, that would be Governor Kathy Hochul. But right now, I'm joined by the man trying to replace her, Nassau County Executive and Republican nominee for Governor Bruce Blakeman. So, Mr. Blakeman, good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
I want to talk to you about a big story of the week that involves something taking place right across the street from our studios. I just spoke with the Deputy Mayor of Housing and Planning about the old Pfizer headquarters across the street from us. So it brings into question these massive conversion projects and if they're a concern to you, plus adding on these massive additions, right? It's something the state once pushed for in terms of turning offices into residential apartments. So if you're elected governor, would you want to see these kind of projects move forward?
Well, we have a housing crisis created by Kathy Hochul and Zohran Mamdani. There are 80,000 vacant apartments in New York City right now because landlords can't afford to move people in. Their utilities have gone up, their taxes have gone up, and their capital costs and their insurance has gone up. And by not allowing them to recoup those costs, they're just leaving them vacant. So we have a housing crisis, and some office buildings are being repurposed for housing. I'm all for that. I think we need to create a larger housing stock, but this is a crisis created by Kathy Hochul and Zohran Mamdani, and it needs to be addressed by making sure that we have the housing stock we need so that if we increase the supply, it'll bring the cost down.
Yeah, so just to be clear, just so I'm understanding what you're saying here. Yes, I hear what you're saying that there is 80,000 units, but on the office to resident conversions, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal that said that maybe some of these projects wouldn't move forward because people are concerned due to what took place earlier in the week. You're saying you'd like to see these projects move forward?
Yeah, I think that repurposing buildings that no longer have the tenancy because of a change in the way that we do business with AI, with remote working, with the fact that many people now get what they need online and don't need to be in the office. We always have to think of ways to make our state and our city more competitive. We have to create economic development. Yeah. We've got to make sure that we repopulate our cities. Because of Kathy Hochul, thousands of jobs have left New York and hundreds of thousands of people have left New York because they can't take the high taxes, the high electric bills, 70% higher than the national average. It's unaffordable to live here because there's been no economic activity because businesses don't want to do business here.
You know, you just brought up AI, right? And you've made a recent campaign move of using a lot of AI to try to attack Governor Hochul and her policies. I'm guessing, why are you going the AI route, using kind of this deep fake technology and not, say, use actual press conferences in her own words, if that's what you actually believe is the issue?
Well, first of all, I have more press conferences in 4 months than she's had in 4 years. So I'm always talking to the media. I'm always available like I am here today. And Kathy Hochul has refused to debate me. I've offered to have as many as 4 or 5 debates. She hasn't responded to one of them. So I'm very happy to compare my record in Nassau County, safest county in America, not raising taxes in 4 years, economic activity, people are happy in my county, versus her record, the highest tax state in the United States, electric bills 70% higher than the national average, and crime going up, and shootings occurring all over New York State.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just asking, why go
out of control?
Why go the AI route in some of these ads?
Well, you use every tool that's available. I do personal stuff. If you go on my website, if you go on Instagram or Facebook or X, I do a lot of content myself. I do probably 15 or 20 pieces a week. But AI is very good at producing things that people want to watch, entertaining videos on important political issues. And then sometimes we use humor and satire, which has been used in politics since George Washington.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is I'm using AI because it's one of the tools in the toolbox. And I'm running a modern campaign. I'm running an effective campaign. And that's why recent polls have me 6 points behind. And it means that if I'm 6 points behind now, I will be the next governor on January 1st.
You know, it brings me to a kind of a policy question, because these AI data centers are raising utility costs. We're seeing this kind of play out across the country. Curious what your take is. If you're using AI and you're saying there's a place for it, do you want to allow data centers in New York, or is that something you would say, no, stay away from New York?
No, listen, first of all, AI is coming, but we don't have the energy supply because of Kathy Hochul's failed policies, which have lowered the supply of energy that we have in the state, making it so expensive for people when they pay their electric bills. So we need to get back to common sense practices. We need to create a supply. We have natural gas reserves that are some of the largest in the world right here in New York State, and we're not extracting that natural gas, which is a clean form of energy.
Right, but data centers will use more
natural
energy.
gas because it's clean. So if we increase the energy supply, then of course we'll have enough energy for AI data centers. And I said that we have to work with local government in placing these AI data centers so there's a benefit to the communities. So the communities don't just get the burdens of having a data center, they get the benefits. I've talked to data center operators who are very excited in getting into a public-private partnership with local government to site these data centers around our state and create incentives for the taxpayers by lowering their taxes and lowering their electric bills. So,
but all of that has to
I think
play
those
out.
are the kind of partnerships that make a lot of sense.
All of that plays out if you increase energy costs, right? Which could take some time. So if you don't,
not energy costs, energy supply.
The energy usage. But I'm saying if you don't increase it, it'll be quite some time before you see a data center.
Well, if you don't increase it, you're going to have Kathy Hochul and Zohran Mamdani go out there and on a hot day tell us that we have to keep our thermostats at 78 degrees. We desperately need more energy in this state. And Kathy's green energy scam has done nothing but cost the ratepayers more money. It's produced less energy.
Yeah.
We're sitting on this big natural gas reserve. I'm told by people who are in that business that they could have them operational within 2 months.
Okay.
So let's get going.
I got to squeeze in one more question. I'm up against the clock here, and it's obviously no surprise that you're not the biggest fan of the mayor, who has a very high approval rating in New York City. And it's a place that I've spoken to many experts that say you would need to win over New York City to win an overall election in New York. So how do you plan to do that? If you can give me your 20-second pitch to a New York City resident.
I have not seen a poll that has him at a high approval rating. He is below 50%. If you're below 50% and you're still on your honeymoon as mayor, you're in deep trouble. The only one that polls worse than Zohran Mamdani statewide is Kathy Hochul. So I am very confident that we are on the rise and that the polling is tight, and we will be victorious, and I will be the next governor on January 1st.
Bruce Blakeman, Nassau County Executive, I always appreciate you making the time. Good to see you.
My pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
All right.